I realized while editing I completely forgot to film an intro, so this is actually 8.5 hours after first applying the makeup. So originally the video was just going to be a first impressions, but I guess it ended up kind of being a wear test, and I have to say this foundation lasted great all day long. I haven't had any issues with anything separating. The only thing different that I have on my face now from before, or I guess later that you'll see in the video, is just some plain old Aquaphor on my lips. Y'all, I am so stoked about these products. I'm so excited to see what else 2019 is going to release. I know it did get a bit overwhelming. It just felt like it was new release after new release after new release, but I don't know what it is. I get more excited about drugstore releases than high-end releases, because if something's more affordable and it's good, it's just that much more lovable in my eyes. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into the tutorial swatches. I swatched so many different products for y'all. My wrists and hands are stained and grody, so I'm gonna go wash this off now and go take a shower, but I hope y'all enjoy. So I'm gonna go ahead and prime my face first, and then I'm gonna go in with my eyeshadow. If you're new here, I always like to do my eyeshadow first and then my foundation. That way if I have any fallout, I can always go in and just wipe anything that just crumbles down away. This is from the Full Spectrum CoverGirl line. This is their Matte Ambition Primer. It has SPF 20 and the price range is anywhere from $9.96 to $11.49. Obviously that varies from location. I find that Target and Walmart tends to be the cheapest. If you go to, I think this needs to be shook up. Came out looking a bit separated. Whenever you go to Walgreens and CVS, the prices definitely bump up a bit. I'm going to concentrate this more in my T-zone because that's the area that I do tend to get a bit oily. I'm kind of shocked by the consistency of this. I expected it to have more of like a powdery, almost silicone feel, but it definitely has the slip of like a traditional SPF. Scent-wise, they're very, very faint, sort of like chemical smell. Nothing very strong, but it's not unscented. As I pat this in, I can feel that it's getting a little bit tacky, which will probably be a good thing. That way it can really just latch onto my foundation. I actually really like the texture of this. I was worried that it was gonna be something kind of like that powdery, velvety finish, which I don't really like that too much. All right, now moving on to eyeshadow. I'm gonna start off with one of these liquid shadows from 𝗦𝗢𝗖𝗜𝗓. This is their Mega Last Liquid Catsuit. I'm gonna start off with a cream finish. They have a cream, a metallic, and a shimmer finish. I'm guessing all they did was extend to this line. It's available in 13 cruelty-free, gluten-free, fragrance-free shades. It retails for $4.99 at CVS and at 𝗦𝗢𝗜𝗓𝗡 Beauty, as well as major food, drug, and mass retailers beginning January, which it's now February. Did January not feel like it took forever and a day though? Okay, so going in with one of the cream ones, I'm gonna start off with the shade Camelback, and I'm gonna use this kind of as an eyeshadow primer just to really neutralize my eye area, because as you can see, I do have kind of like weird pigmentation going on up there. So it just has a traditional doe foot applicator. Let's just start with one side first, and I'm going to pat it in. It is very thin. See the difference? This side I have this weird kind of like orangey, just tired look, and over here it kind of just muted everything out and it feels completely weightless on the eye. All right, let's see if that gets weird and creases at all. This kind of reminds me of one of the shades that I've been loving from the Huda Beauty liquid shadows. It wasn't Bubble Bath, I don't think. I can't remember the name, but there was a nude shade that I've been using for this exact method, but I mean $4.99, this is definitely the way to go. Also, I think I made a bad choice with this brow pencil. On camera it looks very red, like in the mirror it doesn't look that way, but as I'm looking into the monitor, I'm like, I have red eyebrows. All right, moving on, we have these Full Spectrum CoverGirl So Saturated eyeshadow palettes. These retail for, let me grab the breakdown, anywhere from $9.96 to $13.49. So the shades in here are supposed to be really rich and pigmented. It promises to not be chalky because these shades are supposed to be able to really pop and look vivid on deeper skin tones as well. So I think we're gonna go through and kind of play with all four of them. Let's start off with this shade here. It just looks like a really nice warm matte brown. In fact, we may go through and kind of mix both of these. Okay, right off the bat, pretty good pigmentation. Gonna pull this upwards. And then going in with a slightly smaller brush, let's go into this shade here. I'm just going to concentrate that a bit lower down. These mattes are performing great. Normally mattes from the drugstore are really chalky or just crumbly and patchy. These seem to be doing well. This shadow blends out so nicely, and it does a great job building up too. And everything is layering great on top of the liquid catsuit. I'm gonna go into this all metallic palette here called 𝗟𝗘𝗧, and I just swatched this purple and it looked really nice. So let's pop some of this all over the lid. I'm actually gonna go in and just use the sponge tip applicator in here to press it on, and then I just dropped it. Okay, luckily we have this one. Just a really nice kind of like blackened eggplant shade. It's not overly metallic. It's just more of like a satin finish. Since it just has a very subtle sheen, as you pull it up and it's like sheared out into a lighter layer, it kind of goes into a matte, which is perfect for the crease. All right, grabbing that small brush that I used with that shade in the crease, I'm just gonna kind of melt those together. Now taking another one of the liquid catsuits. This one is in the shade When Stars Align. It's like there's dark purples in there, but when it hits the light, it has this really nice green shift. I think, oh, yeah, this is gonna look really pretty over the purple base we just laid down. These seem to dry pretty quickly too because the formula is so thin. As I'm applying it, I'm trying my best to kind of hold my eye open. That way it can fully dry before I look up and it gets everywhere. And it pretty much feels like it's already dried down, and it doesn't have like any sort of weird tightening, pulling, or crusty feeling on the lid. Okay, to prep the skin before we move on to foundation, I'm gonna go in with the Wet n Wild Photo Focus 3-in-1 primer water. The packaging of these, so cute. It just reminds me of like happy little Easter eggs or like vitamins. We have 3 different scents: coconut, rose, and then cucumber. So these are infused with cucumber extract as well as chamomile to soothe the skin, and then green tea, which I think is just supposed to like nourish, right? Yeah, nourish your complexion with the rich antioxidant properties it's longing for. So I'm gonna go ahead and just do a couple. Ooh, that's a good even mist. Definitely does smell like coconut, more of like a sunscreen coconut, but it's good. I like it. All right, so my face is all nice and refreshed. Now we can go in with foundation. So this is the Full Spectrum CoverGirl Matte Ambition All Day Shine Free Foundation. There's 20 different shades. This retails for $9.96 to $13.39. It says that it's transfer resistant, long wear formula with buildable coverage to hide pores. I like that. Imperfections and keep shine controlled all day. It offers a natural matte finish using 5% mattifying powders to help absorb oil and blur pores. So I grabbed 2 different shades. I'm not really quite sure which one's gonna be best. So we have Light Neutral 2 and then Light Golden. I really do like the packaging. I have to say my favorite CoverGirl foundation was the original 3-in-1 with like the glass bottle and the blue cap that came out several years ago. The latest one I was not a fan of. I think it was like, was it just True Matte or Matte Made, something like that? I just wasn't a fan. That's Light Golden, and then this one is Light Neutral. I'm thinking I like Light Golden more. Light Neutral looks a little bit too orangey. The sponge I'm going to use is just the one from Real Techniques. It's actually like a thicker gel type of formula. So as you can see, it's not runny. It doesn't really have a scent. All right, so let's just start from this side of the face. Where's my little mirror so I can get all up in my pores? In fact, let's see if it conceals pores, because I would say right here is the area where I have the most pores. It's not sinking in. I don't really think it's blurring, but it's definitely not emphasizing it either. And it doesn't feel like a dry matte, which is good. I am pretty happy with how the area right here with my pores looks like. It doesn't really seem like the foundation's sinking in or emphasizing that area. I think if I were to go in with the Tarte Clean Slate Poreless Primer next time and really smooth out that area, then it definitely would be completely blurred out. But for there being no primer right there, I think it did a really good job. So I would describe this as more of like probably a medium coverage. Here's one side with foundation and then obviously this side without. I probably should have done this side first since this is where I do have more freckles and just kind of like discoloration. I actually really like the finish of it. I don't think it looks like a flat matte. It just kind of has a natural finish to it. It's not overly matte. It's not dewy at all. I have these weird little white, I don't know if that was like the soap from my sponge or if like my moisturizer is doing something funny right here, but there was a little bit of like pilling. That's weird. Okay, so let's go ahead and go on to the other side. I think this is the area where we'll really be able to see the coverage because I just have a lot of freckles going on this side. The sponge seems to be the way to go with this foundation too. I'm not having issues with the sponge absorbing too much of the foundation. Ugh, foundation. Wow, I'm actually really pleasantly surprised because I was kind of hesitant. And the second I read matte, I was like, I'm not gonna like it, but this is nice. From here, I'm going to move on to concealer because my under eyes desperately need it. This is the All Day Idol Brightening Concealer. This comes in 6 shades, retails for $8.42 to $11.49. Now, this is the lightest shade, and I feel like this is my shade. So if you're really fair, I don't think you're gonna be able to find your shade. It says it has brightening pigments that neutralize blemishes, hyperpigmentation, and dark circles. It's medium to full coverage, and it's supposed to be concealer that lasts all day, and it is oil-free. So it has a doe foot applicator. This is definitely a very, I don't know if this is even gonna work for me. Do y'all see how golden that is? It's just, I don't think that's gonna work. Okay, whatever, we'll go in and we'll apply some right here. It's just very, very golden. That's crazy to me that this is the lightest shade. Concealed, but I don't know. For me, I just like a little bit more brightness under there. I will say though, I actually really do like the formula. It doesn't seem to be like emphasizing fine lines or like instantly settling right into those areas. It does seem to be a bit more of like a hydrating concealer, which is good. Okay, I'm gonna go in and grab a different under eye concealer though, just because, especially with a darker lid color, I just feel like I need something else. So for bronzers, we're actually gonna go in with Wet n Wild products, which I'm so excited about these bronzers. They look really nice. So these are the Color Icon bronzers. There's 4 different shades. These retail for $4.99. Apply some of that right to the lower portions of my cheeks and then some on my forehead as well. It's not looking shimmery on the skin though, or I don't really see that sheen that I saw when I swatched it. Let's go in with the slightly deeper shade. So this is definitely way more kind of orangey, but I don't mind bronzers like this for like an all over bronze. So not anything to contour with, but just something to warm up my face. I really like it with this Japanese brush too. So I'm gonna do some on my cheeks, some down my nose. Yeah, I'm really liking this bronzer. Okay, let's go back to CoverGirl and give their moment to shine. So these are the Sculpt Expert all-in-one highlighter palettes. It says that with a luminescent finish, they're designed to complement multicultural skin tones, giving skin a radiant and glowing finished look. Available in Rose Rush, Bronze Flame, and Blush Touch. These retail for $9.96 to $13.49. So the entire full spectrum line from CoverGirl is supposed to be inspired by multicultural women. Even on the box, like all the women that were plastered all over it were beautiful with like really rich and deep skin tones. So I think that really kind of explains this shade range for the concealer as well. So we have 2 highlighters here, and then this one kind of looks more like a blush topper, almost a lighter version of NARS Orgasm, at least in the pan. So I'm gonna start off with the middle shade just because I tend to lean more towards these kind of champagne shades. This one is a white gold that kind of has a little bit of a greenish looking undertone to me, and I'm just not really a fan of those kind. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Drugstore highlighters always get me super excited. Oh, and it's a good one. This is my favorite highlighter brush. This is the Morphe M500. Yep. Me gusta. It's really nice and fine and silky. Face and eyes are now done, and we can move on to the lips. These are the brand new Liquid Catsuit High Shine lipsticks from Wet n Wild. So before they had the liquid, and I guess they still do, have the liquid catsuits, but those were matte liquid lipsticks. These are supposed to be high shine ones, which I'm really excited about. So there are 12 different shades. They retail for $4.99. Oh, I'm sorry, 13 different shades. They're cruelty-free, gluten-free, fragrance-free, vegan shades. So I have 2 different colors here that I think would go with this look. There are some really fun, bright, and like deep plums in there, but I think I'm gonna go for kind of like a nude lip. So we have Send Nudes and then Cedar Later. I'm really kind of feeling Cedar Later. So let's do that one. Were the other cat suits white too on the lid? I feel like they were black. Okay, so it's just a doe foot applicator that has a little groove in it. So it just fits right into your lip. I wonder if I should go in with a lip liner. Lightly lining the outer perimeter. Since it's a high shine gloss, I don't want it to like feather out and get everywhere. Oh yeah, that's my kind of color. I'm gonna use the edge to kind of lightly line. It's really comfortable. It feels very lightweight on the lips. Definitely isn't transfer proof though. It's gonna be all over. If you're kissing someone or drinking from a straw, I can already tell. I still feel like it's definitely more of a gloss than a liquid lipstick. Do they call it a liquid lipstick if it's just a super pigmented gloss? Like what qualifies a glossy liquid lipstick versus a traditional lip gloss? Are there rules? If you know, let me know. Okay, so final thoughts on the products. The only one that I really wasn't happy with is the Full Spectrum Concealer, but it wasn't even the actual formula. It was just the shade. I think if this was lighter, I would actually really like the formula because it did feel very hydrating and lightweight on the under eyes, but the shade was just way too golden, and this is the lightest shade they have. So if you're even more fair than me, then don't even bother. Everything else I was really happy with. I can already tell I am going to be using the absolute mess out of these bronzers. Keep in mind though, you have to be someone who's a fan of like warmer bronzers. If you're looking for a bronzer to contour with, this isn't really gonna be like your thing. It's just more of like an all over type of bronze. My frizzes are so real today. And I don't know what it is about the formula. I swear it kind of just helped smooth down any pores. The foundation, I'll definitely keep you all updated because this isn't like a full day wears review or full day wear test. I am going to be wearing it all day though, so maybe like tomorrow or tomorrow night I'll go ahead and update the info box, but so far I'm really happy with this. I don't see any issues with oxidizing. It actually really did blur my pores. I think once I go in with like a blurring primer, which I will try tomorrow with this, I think I'll love it even more because it really did smooth out my skin. Lots of foundations claim that, but I don't really see it. But this one did. So these highlighters from these Sculpt palettes, oh, so nice. Especially this one in Blush Touch. This middle shade I love. I'm sure I'll have swatches of the other shades in here for y'all. I do have to play with the liquid eyeshadows more. However, the cream one, this is definitely gonna stay on my vanity for every day just to really neutralize my lids and kind of use as an eye primer. I liked how quickly they dried down. Also, the palette in Reverence. This shade right here, honestly, I would pay the price of this palette just for this shade. I thought it was so, so pretty. It's like the perfect everyday warm crease shade if you are warm, orangey, chestnut type of shadow lover. That shadow is so, so pretty. So that is it for this video. I really hope you guys found this video helpful. Let me know which products stuck out the most for you, or if you've already tested out these products, let me know what you're thinking. I always like to hear what y'all are using on your pretty little faces. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe. If you got some more free time, you can always go through, check out some of these videos here, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Have a great day. Bye.